Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This video is the first of 2 or 3 parts where I build a tiny home village. So as you can see now, I'm just putting some terrain tools everywhere, making every area where I'm gonna put the houses a bit raised, which I really end up liking a lot because it makes it look a bit more realistic, fairy tale aspect, like if it's on the side of a mountain. And yeah, this is the first time I've actually used terrain tools in this way. I typically don't use them, they're a bit hard to work with, but I think this was a good little learning build for me. So every house I wanted to make sure it was a bit unique, it didn't look exactly like its neighbors because it's not realistic. I'm adding some basements on the left side. These tiny homes on the left were really small, so I wanted to make sure that there was enough room for the interior, which will be in the next video. And the ones on the right typically have 2 stories above ground. With this corner house, I wanted to connect both of those and make it into one large house, but because of the terrain tools, I wasn't actually able to connect them. If you do know a way to do that, it'd be nice to know, so let me know in the comments. But for now, I actually just connect them on the outside. So as you can see, I'm roofing a lot. I'm wanting to put as much detail as I could on the outside because it helps me think better about what I want to do. And this corner, the opposite corner, was also proving a bit difficult because of the odd shape I made it be. So I put some roofing on it. I deleted a lot of times. I've actually cut a lot of this part of the video just because it was so annoying to work with. It never wanted to join correctly, so I ended up changing it a bit later as well, but for now I think I leave it pretty much how it's looking right now. So as you can see, I'm having some trouble here fitting each roof piece. I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't connecting, but it was really annoying me. I also want to apologize for all of the weird popping up of the camera because everything's on a gradient, like everything is higher up than everything else. It's making it really difficult to actually put stuff on these houses or decorate them on the outside. I had to keep turning the camera, I had to zoom out and in, and I tried to cut as much of that as possible, but sometimes I just couldn't. Like there was no way around it. It was such minuscule little pops of my camera that just I had to keep them in. So I am sorry about that. I will try to move the camera a bit less. Here I'm just putting some foundations. I wanted to have all of these houses on the stilt foundation, but for some reason that second house wouldn't allow me to. I think it's because of the basement. But I don't think it looks too odd having the, I don't know what pack that is, but I think it's Get Together. And here I'm just putting a base roof, base coat of paint on everything just to help my brain think about what I want to do with each of these houses. Right, so here I am putting more unique paneling on each house. I really wanted to show the differences in each house, so I went ahead and I started painting each house individually. And this whole video is just the exterior. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but in the next one, when I do the interior, they're all also gonna have their own personalities. And here I'm trying to fix that roof. I decided to go with having a second floor to make it so that the roof is a bit easier to work with, but it also helps it stand out amongst its neighbors, kind of like the opposite corner where it's raised above everyone else. So I think it looks nicer having that second floor, and also gives much more room to work with on the interior later. So as I'm decorating these houses, I started kind of getting a feel of what I wanted that house to be, which is more of a witchy house, kind of as an homage to the Charm family whose lot this actually is. I'm building this in Glimmerbrook, so it's getting a little bit of a witchy makeover. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the interior as kind of a little witch house or reserve that for a pretty looking house that's on the outside, but I really like how this one turned out. Is the one that I actually focused most on because it's the one that I had a clear vision of what to do. But yeah, you'll see I'm doing some windows now. I started doing windows on all of them, and then I got really frustrated with how the wood tones never match. I also wanted to make sure that I didn't kind of box myself in by putting too many windows everywhere and having to change them and move them later. So I've only put some of the windows across all of the houses. They all have doors though. By the way, if you guys have any ideas of what to include in the interior of any of these, if you want a music room or you want a gym, you want me to include a little cinema, I can try my best to fit that in. Just let me know in the comments. I have already done the interior of 4 of them, but I haven't gone around to most of them, so let me know what you think. I'll try my best to actually fit something in there. So here I am putting doors on everything. You can tell that I'm kind of going for a more modern one. In some cases, the blue house has a little, like cutesy vibe on the outside, and then the other ones just have a more generic vibe. I might change the doors later, depending on what aesthetic I choose to go with the interior. My thought process for the blue one especially was that like someone had taken this old house and renovated it and just, made it a bit special. So I thought that was a cute little, I really like that door, the tiny, I think it's Nifty Knitting actually, door. Here I'm just putting some porches in front of each door just to make sure that I could actually get stairs on each of them and have Sims actually go up into the house. I did playtest this It's not in the video, but I made sure that a sim can actually go through each of the houses, and it all works. Some of the stairs were being a bit annoying just because of the different heights of the terrain. And this corner house right here, it kept wanting to connect there. I initially just wanted them to be separate instead of one house. I kind of given up on the idea of one house on that point. But because of how annoying those stairs were, and I didn't like having so many little bits of stairs there, I decided to actually connect them one porch to the other. So that comes a little bit later when I'm kind of going through and editing a bit more. So here I'm just smoothing the terrain out. I had been really nervous, like I said, that Sims wouldn't be able to walk anywhere because of how the terrain tools work. You never know also with the Sims if things are actually going to work the way you think they are. So I was trying to keep the ground as level as possible, and here I'm just putting some terrain paint everywhere. So I was just trying to keep the ground as level as possible, but I also didn't like the look of that, so I just kind of crossed my fingers and hoped that it would work. So yeah, initially I wanted to put those cobblestones everywhere, but it would lift the terrain. So I ended up going with terrain paint, which works really, really well. I really like terrain paint. I think everyone does. It's just really simple, really easy to work with. But the only annoying thing is if you use any terrain tools and lift something up too much, you can't actually paint the beige, like, side of each mountain, which looks really strange, and I wish you could because it would make things look a lot better, but it's okay. I think I cover a lot of it with landscaping, so hopefully at the very end it'll look better. I haven't finished this build, like I said earlier, so it's not up in the gallery until I finish it. When it is, it will be available on my gallery. It's nutty_cookie without the E. Put it up there on the screen, and you can actually play in this, so I really hope that if you do like it, you do maybe take a look in it, see if you actually do want to play in it. You could use a lot of these tiny homes as retail spaces as well. But yeah, I also thought maybe it's a good idea if you want to actually play in this as a residential lot. You could have a ton of roommates. Obviously you can only have 10, I believe, but you could rent out the rest of the flats, or the houses. I really like that fountain in the center. I think it looks really pretty with the, I think it's romantic garden stuff, with fountain centerpiece. And here I'm just trying to put tables everywhere, and I had to lift some of that foundation. You'll see me try to put some stairs, hoping that I didn't need to use them because they look so ugly, the way that the terrain paint works there. So yeah, I took them out. Yeah, because I wasn't focusing on putting a lot of the furniture down, I didn't want to overly do the center, so that might change later as well. But the only interior I did was what you just saw, which was a little town hall meeting space, putting the mailboxes there and the cork board. And yeah, here I am doing some landscaping. So I put these trees everywhere. I think they look nice, but I might change them later just because it not blending in with the trees in the world, which would be okay to use in a different world, obviously, like also could just stay that way, but I kind of want to blend it in a bit more, so they probably will change to those pine trees if I can get them to work well. Oh yeah, I put one of those pea bushes there because I thought if your sim is having to go up all those stairs and they come home and they really need to use the bathroom, then at least there's a pea bush. And yeah, that's the whole video. I hope you guys like the exterior of this build. If you do, click a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.